Hi everyone, Steve Wiss here, joined by Kevin Harper, and this is the latest All Sports Betting Pod Cricket ICC Champions Trophy match previews. And a winner for you yesterday, Kev. You're off the mark for the tournament. Shikhar Dhawan delivered. Shame you didn't get a few more than 68, but you'll happily take those runs, won't you?
Yeah, absolutely. The annoying thing was the way he got out, wasn't it? I mean, could have belted the ball that he got out to from Birmingham to Coventry and back, but picked out the only fielder on the leg side. That's annoying. We're going to get those, but the main thing, really, in terms of that bet, and indeed plenty of other bets, was that India won the game so emphatically. It's hard to see them not qualifying from here. Such was the margin of that victory. They'll only need one win to go through. Two will definitely, obviously, take them through. But I think they'll go through with one win, and with Sri Lanka to come, you would back them to get that. So decent start. Happy to get a winner, particularly as I deserved a winner previously in the tournament, and hopefully we can build on that for the remainder of the event.
Now, as we approach this week, the good old British weather is going to take centre stage, and I've seen all sorts of different forecasts around this match between Australia and Bangladesh is at the Oval, and it's the first day-night match of the tournament. Starts at 1:30 in the afternoon. But again, it could be a case of shower dodging. I mean, there's a real risk that this match is going to get heavily reduced, isn't it, Kev?
Absolutely. The ironic thing is the first day-night match of the tournament, and if it had kicked off as just a day game, there's every chance that they'd have made it through the game. Most of the forecasts that I see suggest that the rain's going to start to come in around the 5 o'clock time, so that would be a bit annoying. But hopefully, any showers that do come in are only light, and there's a bit of wind with them pass through. Generally speaking, with the river nearby, showers do pass by the Oval. It's very rare that they clatter some serious rain. So hopefully we dodge most of it and we can get a game in.
Yeah, obviously when there is a big risk of rain, then you've got to be careful what you bet on, and there's going to be plenty of potential void bets around. Let's just stick with the one bet you've got for the game. You're in the sixes market, Australia over 5.56s. Now, does the whole 50 overs have to be bold here for that bet to be a winner?
Depends where you bet, Steve. Check where you bet. Most of them do let you have a certain number of overs. For example, I think it's William Hill that say 80% of the overs. Some say 90%. Some say the whole job lot. But looking at the forecast, we'll either get the first 50 overs in, or we won't get anywhere near enough anyway. So you're right. We've got to be careful with what we bet on here. Void bets are very much in play. My advice would be to try and find a bet that only involves one innings, and then if that team does what you need them to do in that in the first innings of the game, there's every chance that they might sneak a full 50 in, or if not in one go, certainly after a shower, because of course we've got an hour and a quarter before we start losing overs. So that would be my advice. My other advice would be to leave the match outcome. Obviously, DRS is heavily weighted in the chasing side these days. You don't really want to be back in, certainly don't want to be back in Australia at a minute price and then finding out that DRS buggers you up and all of a sudden Bangladesh are only chasing sort of 105 in 20 overs and the rain clears and long enough for a 20 over game, So be careful with your bets. But yeah, I'm taking Australia over 5.5 sixes, Steve. If we don't get the required number of overs, then so be it. I'll have my money back. But if we get a decent innings in Australia batting on this particular ground, I can't see how they don't hit sixes. I mentioned the other day, the straight boundaries are ridiculously short here, and that's where most Australians are programmed to hit, isn't it? Aaron Finch hits down the ground. David Warner's more a mid-wicket man, but even that's not the longest boundary in the world. In the likes of Travis Head, Chris Lynn and Glenn Maxwell, they both hit a very long ball straight down the ground. So I don't think these straight boundaries are going to be big enough. I think the rained out game on Friday between Australia and New Zealand has only sort of forced Australia to try and win this by a bigger margin. There's every chance England win this group with 3 wins, and Australia and New Zealand both beat Bangladesh, and the qualifier will obviously be the team with the better run rate against Bangladesh. So it's imperative that Australia set the marker out to New Zealand and win this big. Of course, it's most imperative that they win the game, but I think they'll go out on a limb and try and win this really, really big and really boost that net run rate of theirs, just as a just as another point if they need it, really. Particularly, as you mentioned, rain is around for the majority of this week, although annoyingly for Australia, it doesn't look like it's going to hit Cardiff for England against New Zealand. So that's my kind of thinking. I think Australia are going to go big. Let's be honest, they don't need to go that big anyway to hit 6-6s against this bowling attack. There's an awful lot of medium pace and an awful lot of spin, and we haven't seen a ball turn in this tournament yet. So I would imagine the Australians are going to have free rein to hit through the line, the likes of Finch, Warner, Lynn, should he play, Maxwell, even someone like Moses, Enriquez. They can all hit a decent enough cricket ball, and I'm backing them to clear the ropes 5.5 times, well, 6 times.
I guess when there's rain around, look in the top batsman market, it can be pretty dangerous, can't it? Because you might be ending up with like a 20 or 25 over innings. So, are you best to wait sort of in running and see how the match is going before you decide on a top bat pick?
Yeah, probably. And you could always sort of take a chance with someone like Glenn Maxwell that it is a 20 over game, and they shove him right up the top of the order. He's opened in T20 cricket before, hasn't he, for Australia? A couple of centuries down in Sri Lanka. Even if he weren't to open, Steve Smith might say you're better suited to a bit of slap and tickle than I am. So you go in at 3. So, that kind of thing. You just got to think outside the box on days like these, Steve, and then hope once you have thought outside the box that the forecast is right. Of course, we'd all love to see a 50 over a side game. That would be fantastic. But I think when 4 or 5 forecasts tell you it's unlikely, you've got to take that on the nose. If there's conflicting reports, then maybe you can kind of get away with it. But that's not the case for this game. So a little bit of outside the box thinking, kind of think what you'd normally do in, say, a T20 game or a 25-30 over game, and then go with that, really.
If it was to go the full 50 overs, both innings, then surely Australia would have very few concerns against Bangladesh, or could the Bangles surprise a bit?
Well, you've only got to go back a few years. Is it 2005, wasn't it, when Bangladesh done Australia? Is it in Cardiff that time? Was it Bristol? One of the two. Ricky Ponting's mob got absolutely embarrassed, didn't they, shortly before the Ashes started that year, and the embarrassment continued for the rest of the summer, didn't it? Those days are probably not around now, although ironically Bangladesh are an awful lot stronger now than they were then. I think we saw how this game will play out in the first 2 games between that these two sides played, Steve. Bangladesh, very, very talented batting side. They batted very, very well against England. But the concern going into the tournament was always going to be taking wickets and restricting powerful batsmen to few runs. They failed to do that against England. That's not going to change here. So they're going to have to pile up runs if they're going to win the game. That's one thing that's for certain. You wouldn't think Australia will bowl as badly again as they did against New Zealand. The likes of Mitchell Starc probably needed the run out, to be fair, in that first game. He should be much more at it in this second game. And if it goes full 50 overs, I would expect Australia to win. And as I mentioned earlier, I would expect them to run up the net run rate, because there's every chance that's going to become a major factor in this group.
All right, yeah, well, there's not an awful lot else we can say here. Keep your eye on the weather, be vigilant with what you bet on. And Kev's pick is over 5.5 Australian 6s in the match. That's at Coral 2.10. Best of luck with that, and we'll be back for England against New Zealand preview on Tuesday. From this podcast, it's going to be goodbye from me.
Yeah, goodbye from me too.
Take care, everyone.